Welcome back to the Elevate podcast, where we're here to lift founders up to the next level. I'm Sean Malone, one of your co-hosts, alongside of Neil Fairmont and Mr. Simon Severino. Hi, gentlemen. How we doing today? Neil, what's good, man? Looks like you got a haircut or two. How's it going?
Well, it's been very warm here in Portugal over the last few weeks. Been enjoying the summer, taking some time out as well, not trying to do too much work, spending some time with family and enjoying this beautiful weather that we still have here. So I'm doing well. Thank you.
Love it. Have you been getting on the beach out there? Yeah, we have a couple of members on our software that live in Portugal as well. So
Yeah, we're only an hour away from the coast, so we can travel and stay overnight places and things like that. We always have to come back and look after the cats because, we have 5 outdoor and 2 indoor. So we have to.
You guys are the cat whisperers, man. I love that. That's
whisperers.
Cool. That's it. Mr. Simon Severino's back. He's taking a little bit of time to hang out with his family in his other house. Simon, how was your trip? You're back. What's new?
We're back. 5 weeks at the beach house. We did fall in love with tennis. We played a lot of tennis, 2 hours per day. That's our new love. And I'm working towards the book. It's coming along well. Today I had a breakthrough that I will share with you guys that saved me so many hours. So from now it will compound saved hours, and I'm excited to share that. And I was talking today to one of my Dream 100 corporations, and they called me, the marketing department, because they want help with their marketing. And so when somebody on the Dream 100 calls me, that's a highlight for me.
It's always a highlight. That's amazing. Yeah, on my end, I've been business-wise finished our next book that we're going to be launching here this month, which I'm excited about. We launched a low-ticket funnel over this past month. Actually, it's been like 4 months in the works, and it exploded right out the gate yesterday with some of our testing. So that was really, really exciting. It's a low-ticket system that will drive people right into our product and service, which I'm excited about. And then personally, last week I competed at a United States National Championships for 40 and older disc golfers, frisbee golfers. The best 70 across the whole nation competed in this tournament. I ended up taking 14th place. So
wow,
I was very, very pleased that I'd say I'm, as an amateur 40 plus guy, like pretty good at disc golf, which is cool. That's what I can say.
And are the older better or the youngest? Because in tennis, the youngest are the best, and then you play
youngers
with the
are the best, right? So the world, the number one world man is 20 years old right now.
Oh, still the youngest.
Yeah. Wow.
Always the youngest.
Yeah.
I hate
it's
that.
The youngest. Yeah. So, and but I'm not in the pro level. I'm in the amateur. It's like a different division. Yeah. So it's for old guys. Come on.
Yeah.
You've still got it. That's what they say. You've still got it.
I like being in the protected age divisions. It's better. So that's it. So today, guys, we're talking about avoiding burnout. We got a couple other things we're going to share with you. We'll just kind of jump into it. I got a couple questions that I'll ask these guys like we normally do, and then we'll see where the conversation spirals out to. So first question is this won't come over to Neil. Hey, Neil, what are the early warning signs of burnout? What do you what early signs of burnout do you watch for in yourself, and how do you respond and notice them? I think is the first one, is like being aware, right?
Yeah, not sleeping well is my first warning sign, where my constantly monkey mind is going on and on and on, thinking about what I have to do. I haven't finished a particular task, whatever it might be. So lack of sleep, because I do pride myself on getting a good night's sleep, not taking the phone with me, reading before I go to bed, an actual book. Puts me in a sound sleep. Getting a good 7 to 8 hours a day is really important for me. If I have to go to bed early, I'll do it. So that's a really big warning sign for me, where I can't sleep. I'm restless. I feel exhausted when I get up in the morning, and then I get back into the grind. So yeah, that's my first warning sign.
Love that. Is there any other warning signs that you look for other than just lack of sleep, or
just not being able to complete tasks, right? Moving from one task to another because you're getting overwhelmed with the number of things that you have to do. It's almost like not being able to focus on that particular one task to get it complete. So you end up taking on so many, but never accomplishing and completing any of them to the degree that you expect. So yeah, just basically taking on too much and not finishing stuff.
Mountain of a task list that never gets finished. Lack of focus, lack of sleep. These are all really good ones. Simon, over to you. What are the early warning signs of burnout that you watch for in yourself, and how do you respond once you notice them?
I made an agreement with myself that I will do 1 hour minimum of sweaty workouts every day. Can be nature, can be a fitness class, doesn't matter what it is, but it must be sweaty workout. So it's more than tennis or a slow jog. It's an actual sweaty 1 hour, and it must be 1 hour, and the ideal is 2 hours, so twice a day. But if I fall below, this is what I monitor. If I fall below that 1 hour per day and I start making excuses, I will not today because insert excuse of the day. Then I know, okay, I'm losing control here. And that losing control, that's my warning sign. Because if I start with my excuses, I know, okay, now something is driving me. I'm not driving here. I'm in the passenger seat and I'm being driven by a bus. Whatever that bus is, that's my warning sign. I don't want to sit in a bus. I want to be on the driver's seat. And so that's my early sign, my own excuses.
Yeah, I like that. I'll just add a couple more. Like at the end of the workday, sometimes and again, I think it's seasonal, right? So like as you're a founder of a business, know that you have to wear a lot of hats, and always wearing all these hats. It's like you always have to do things, and sometimes seasons are going to be way heavier than other seasons. And so the way that I look at it is like, first of all, I'll evaluate the season of my life. I usually do it nowadays by 90-day sprint cycles. So listen to strategy sprints and sprint cycles, like what Simon teaches is totally true. Anybody can do anything for 90 days. But if you sustain the pace at running at a 90-day super sprint where you're working crazy amounts of hours, you will burn out. Like there's just no questions about it. And so typically what I'll do is I'll like define a season and say, okay, this is a heavy season. And then I always harmonize. So if I have a heavy season, then I always go a light season afterwards. Like, and I have that now in my head thinking like, okay, I'm going to run this till the end of this month, or I'm doing this for the next 2 months or whatever. I'll set a time frame. And that's been helpful for me to not get trapped in just doing everything all the time. And one of the early warning signs that I have when I'm getting burned out in those seasons is like, if I'll do my work all day, because I usually work, from about 7 until 7 most days, 12-hour days most days. If I can't go sit on the couch after dinner, pull up my laptop and do something, that's my first early indicator of like, oh my God, my brain is fried right now and I need to decompress. And that's when I'll start to say, okay, look, like, don't open the laptop, relax, go to bed early, do the things that, like Neil was kind of talking about. And I think that's definitely helpful. So just like being aware of like how much you're working in the day is definitely a big thing. I'll go back to you, Neil. When you notice your burnout, you said lack of sleep, not completing tasks, lack of focus. How do you respond to those? Like, what do you do to trigger yourself to like get out of it?
Similar to Simon. So, I mentioned before, I love gardening. I have quite a bit of land and gardening things that I have to do. And if I don't get out in the morning, have my cup of coffee, cup of tea with the wife, and then go and do something in the garden, that's a sort of a way that I would just focus my attention onto something else and just get out of that sort of monkey mind, as I mentioned before. So for me, getting outside into nature, doing some work in the garden, there's always something to do. It'll be at least an hour to 2 hours, maybe even 3 hours a day sometimes to get stuff done. And at the end of the day, it's not worth worrying about too much. You've got to have some pleasures in life and you've got to have some breaks. And I think for me, taking some time out and doing something that's not having to think about it, when I'm actually doing gardening or creativity or something like that, I don't think about the other tasks that I have to do. It sort of just switches my mind and I can focus then on just being a little bit more at peace. So getting outside.
And when he says garden, guys, that's not a little backyard that you are imagining right now. It's like Central Park. It's huge. It has a theater. It has like olives. It's incredible. You have to show it someday.
I'll show you a picture. I'll find the picture and
that's amazing. I love that. Simon, how about you? When you notice you're going into burnout, when you're on that bus that's driving you off the cliff that you have no control over, like what do you do to respond to that? How do you get off the bus? How do you like make it stop?
Yeah. So I get aggressive. What I do is I make a list of all the things that I have. And the reason is, it's 22 years that I'm working intensively. And so I hit that point many times. And so I know that if I react aggressively, I can go back on track. And so my aggressive reaction is I make a list of all the tasks that are on my plate. In the beginning, it's a long list, like 100 things. I have to take care of this, call back that person, move forward that project. There's 20 projects that pop up and a ton of activities. And then I cut that list in half, and then I cut that list in half again.
Based on.
Until there is only 4 tasks.
So how do you prioritize which task rises to the top?
The one that survives. That's it. I have to cut in half. I don't overthink it. That's the aggressive part. I don't do an interdependence analysis. I don't calculate anything. I just cut. I have to cut it in half. I have to cut it in half again until there is only 4 things left.
Mm-hmm.
Because my fuel is low, and so I have to focus. The question that I have in my mind is, what's the highest leverage activity? It's very simple. I'm not thinking, dollars per hours or whatever fancy methods. Very simple. What are the 4 highest leverage activities? And in the end, I have this little theater here, the circle thing. And so I put them here in front of me. So in front of me, there is only a MacBook Pro and this guy here. That's it. Those are the 4 things. So I always have them here. Right now, they are moving the book forward, making introductions every day, reaching out to 25 people that I don't know and are on the Dream 100 list, and offering one person a power hour. Those are the 4 things right now. Only they can change.
I just want to take a second and really commend you for that, Simon, because I think as a founder who's been around for 20 some years, and I'm the same, and I think Neil's the same. The 4 things you just listed are some of the most important things in your whole book, and it all revolves around finding new opportunity for your business, or at least I think all 4 of those do, right? 25 introductions a day. Any founder that I've ever met that's 20 years into the game still saying, hey, I make 25 new introductions a day is like, I know that guy's going to win 100 times out of 100, right? Because it's the right focus. So just good job on that, man. I think that's super dope. That's why we built our software, because I'm reaching out to at least 50 every day myself. I'm doing the same thing. So it's that's the effort, right? That's the thing that's going to grow anyone's business and keep you moving forward. So I love that. I would say maybe 80% of those things on your list are towards new opportunity, which I think is, introducing people, building relationship, meeting new, that's a really, really great focus, dude.
And the book alone, number 1 is a baby step towards the book. Yeah. The book alone, if what Jay and I are planning, if it goes well, that's a $6 million opportunity, because the book is in the vehicle for a program. The program has additional packages. It opens up new doors. And so it's a really a sales project. And it's not just telling the story of our life. It's a very targeted activity and project that we think strategically about. And so if that goes well, it's a $6 million activity. Now, there is nothing else on my list that can bring $6 million in at once. That's why in the end, I don't overthink it. I look at the opportunity at hand, and it's when I do that with this momentum that I have to cut, the cream stays at the top. And some are obvious, like 6 million versus 200,000. And some are less obvious, like making introductions. That's more long-term and strategic. But if you're a strategic person, you know that you're planting seeds. And then when you grow a full garden, back to Neil, a full garden of trees, I mean, that's resilience.
I also just kind of deviating a little bit into kind of the methodology behind the madness there. I think what's really interesting that you shared is you have this model that's kind of like elephant, antelope, bunny rabbit. And I'll explain. So your book is an elephant project. This is the one that's not going to bring revenue right now today, But at the end of the day, it's a monster to grow your business at light speed when it gets done and completed and launched. If founders are working on things like this and they don't have a play to capture antelopes or bunny rabbits, they're going to lose out, right? Because that's an elephant deal. Your antelope deals are the connections you're making to other people. You get joint venture intros, you build new affiliate partners. That's more of an antelope style sale for you. And then your bunny rabbits are, hey, I'm reaching out to 25 new people. We never know where those ones are going to go. Those are my bunny rabbits. And so I think every business model, and then at least the ones I teach, right? Like all the people I teach, I always say, hey, what is your elephant, antelope, bunny model? And who's the elephant, who's the antelope, and then who are the bunny rabbits? And most of the time I find the founders that are floundering or struggling are the ones that are focused on the too big of a long-term project to not bring cash in now, or they're going one-to-one to the small bunny rabbits and not doing any other stuff. And I think there has to be kind of a combination of three. So let's do a little deep dive. Neil, if you had to say, here's my elephant, antelope, bunny strategy, who's the elephant, who's the antelope, and who's the bunny rabbit for you?
Oh wow. Well, the elephant is this garden here. That's my elephant.
Hey, look at that thing.
So that's what I'm working on. That's my wall of of creativity where I'm building stuff. That's not obviously my main focus in life, but Antelope. Maybe I'll have to go to Simon for that one to start with, because I have to think about that now. Because
I think
I'm a little bit like the founder that you've mentioned, whereby I'm just focusing on maybe the small things, maybe the long-term objectives. I'm working on webinars and things like that are potentially going to bring in business in the future, but maybe I'm spending too much time focusing on those long-term projects than I'm focusing on maybe outreach on a daily thing that I should be doing. And that's maybe some of the things that I need to sort of refocus.
Yeah, and I would say, I just want to jump in and say, like, a webinar is an antelope model because it's a one-to-many sales tool, right? Because once you have a webinar that's good and it converts, now your job is just get a bunch of eyeballs in front of it. And that's more of an antelope style hunt where you're like sitting in the blind with your gun and you're like, okay, look at all these people coming my way. That's a cool move for kind of more of a mass herd effect, kill a bunch of antelope at the same time. And then the bunny rabbit model. And that's really what I instruct people. I'm like, hey, like, if you need cash flow, open up your DMs, go one-to-one for 25 a day for as long as you can, because that's going to generate so many conversations that turn into calls, like do things. As long as you're targeting the right people, that's easy. And then if you build the webinar and then, hey, maybe you got a book project in the background, that could be an elephant, antelope, bunny rabbit model for you, Neil. So I think it's interesting to just think about, right? It's like
I love
most
the model.
people.
Is it yours?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been saying it for years. So I mean, like, that's really, so other people say it's like, it's like whale, tuna, like little fish. I mean, you could do it with fish, you could do it with animals, whatever, right? So, but it's just, I think, like, when people, because like I teach prospecting, right? So I always look at that model and I say, okay, if you have 2 hours a day to prospect, or hey, let's call it 1 hour a day to prospect, right? You got 20, 40, 60. What I would do is split that hour, 20 minutes for my elephant project, just move it forward a little bit. One thing, I feel good about that. 20 minutes towards my antelope project, and then 20 minutes to hit 25 new, right? It can be done that fast. And if you just have an hour to prospect, if we break the block down and we focus on those activities, we know in our mind, hey, when that elephant comes around, and I'm ready to eat, it's going to be one bite at a time and I'm going to be fat and awesome. Right. And hey, but I know that's a long-term thing. I'm not worried about that for my daily cash flow. My daily cash flow revolves around, hey, I'm doing this outreach. I'm also reaching out, doing my webinar, and that's a cool thing to do. Right. So I think most founders focus on, hey, I got a prospect, and they just choose one and they go deep. And then sometimes it's the wrong one. Right.
I think that's a good point you've made, actually. So you've reset my sort of thinking here. So my elephant definitely is the webinar, because I'm doing a monthly webinar every month now for the next 6 months and focusing on different topics and bringing people in. My bunny rabbit definitely is the outreach, because I am trying to do as much outreach as I can per day. And then the antelope is really for me, because I still have client work that I'm working on, which is bringing in money, whether it be sort of projects that I'm working on specifically, or services that I'm delivering. But yeah, there's definitely things I can.
So all I would tweak in that whole model is perfect, Neil. I love the elephant, antelope, bunny model that you have there, but just in your antelopes. And one thing that I would suggest is, if you're working on client work, the one term you need to stay focused on is expansion revenue. How can I get this current client to buy more from me? Because now that little bunny rabbit sale becomes an antelope sale. You know what I'm saying? right?
Perfect.
That's the
Love
idea.
that.
Yeah.
Right. That's my
And
list. Thank
I
you.
love this. And since it's about avoiding burnout, let me share with you guys what happened to me today, because this will be a time saver for everybody listening. We have to tell this everybody. So the dark side of doing long-term strategic things was that it took me like 60 minutes, 90 minutes every day to do these tasks. And they are tough tasks. So I need like 2 espressi before I do
You're
that.
like coffee
Just
overload
the
over
two.
there.
Yeah,
Just the
well, I'm
two.
Italian. I'm Italian. And so it took me 60 to 90 minutes every day to do this.
Yeah.
And today I found a way that it takes me just 10 minutes.
Hey, look at you.
And everybody can do it. Everybody can do it. So what I did is I use this software, which is called Fixer AI, which is meant to be an executive assistant, clean up your inbox, create some drafts for your reply emails, and record your meetings. And I've been heavily using all these AI things because I wanted at some point for them to help me remind stuff. So, hey, who was dental guy? I want to introduce dental guy to PE healthcare roll-up guy, but I forgot the name of dental guy. So something like that I was facing every week. I'm bad with remembering people, and I meet 100 every week. So it's impossible for me to remember people. And CRM wasn't solving it. So I was like, okay, at some point I can speak to an AI, they go through my calendar to my emails, and they will find it. Today was the moment when it came together.
Great.
And so Fixer AI has this new feature, which is just called chat. You would think, oh, okay, let me click it. New beta. Okay, I clicked it. And it gave me 3 options. And one was research, and the other was draft. So I click research, and just for fun, I say, hey, what's the name of dental guy again? I forgot who he is, but he has 100 dental clinics, and there is this guy who's doing the PE roll-up. I want to introduce them to each other, but I forgot the name of dental guy. So it found the name of dental guy. And then I said, can you draft an email introduction? It drafted an email introduction. So can you put it in my inbox? It did put it in my inbox.
Wow.
I changed almost nothing and I sent it. And then I was, wait a second. Okay, so level 1, the introductions worked. So that saved me a ton of time into typing, looking for their email, all this admin around it. But also the thinking, what's their name? What was exactly the new product that they are shipping? What was it exactly that they need to ship it? I forget these details, but they are critical. It does not forget because it has all the emails and
Sure.
the recordings. And so I was like, okay, there was this person who wanted to sell his B2B SaaS, but he needs this little piece. Who is the operational guy who can solve that little piece? It found that. And then I put into my calendar, okay, 10 minutes every day. Now make the introductions using Fixer AI. The second thing was, my second task is reconnecting to people who almost became a one-on-one client 6 months ago, 9 months ago, 12 months ago, but didn't, right? Hey, how are you doing? The reconnect email, right? I did the same thing.
Powerful. 5 new. Do the reconnects
No,
count as your 25 new?
no,
No,
25 must
different.
be new. But
I
on
like
top
it.
of that, I reconnect 1 or 2 per day,
Yeah,
right?
I do the same. Like my system's a little bit different than yours. I use tasks in my CRM to pull, like I always, anytime I talk to somebody, I'm always like when's the next time I'm gonna follow up with them, whatever. I'll just put a date no matter what. I usually like discuss and agree that on a call or through whatever communication we're doing. But I do really like that tool. I'm going to go to take a look at that. Fixer.ai is the I think that's a great way to save some time, Simon. I think that's a great use of AI. And I think like it helps to go fast, save time, and then your prospecting hour gets saved and you can do more of the other, right? So that's kind of a cool thing. Let's move on to the next question here. Neil, I'll come over to you first. How do you set boundaries between your business and personal life without feeling like you're losing momentum?
Coming from a IT consultancy project and working sort of 35 years in that, I wasn't my own boss. And I think I mentioned this to you before, where I sort of learned sort of over time to actually just say no to various projects and things. And it took a lot of courage and things to do that, obviously being established over the years. Because I was finding out that I was just spending way too much time on project work and working and not having any family time, and that affects everything. So now in my own sort of business, I make a point of having regular breaks in the day, and it's in my calendar. They are just basically blocks of time where I'm either doing something with family or just taking some time out for me, going walking in the garden, whatever it is. But there's always time that is set aside for doing specific things that isn't work related. And those boundaries are very easy for me to set, because I've been down the road of having terrible burnout in the past, been very stressed out, been very unwell. And therefore now it's easy for me to just say, well, this is what I'm going to be working on today. These are the allocated hours I'm doing, and it's all blocked sort of calendar wise and so on. If some emergency comes up, both on family and business, then there is, a way that I can shift around that if I have to, but I'm very sort of rigid in what I do in my mornings, in my afternoons, and sort of in my evenings. That's not specifically work related. And I just bound that by time and calendar blockings.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Simon, over to you. How do you set boundaries between your business and personal without feeling like you're losing momentum?
I don't. I don't have boundaries between those things. I don't separate them. There's only one Simon, one life. And I'm meeting you two guys. Is this now work or is this life? Yeah. So I don't have any separation around that. It's a flow. I have only this very moment. I'm fully present to this moment. In 10 minutes, my kids might come in here, and then I say hello to them, and they say hello to you guys. It can happen. They are very near here. So it's one mesh. It's one big moment for me. I don't cut that. Now, what helps me is prioritizing my own tasks so that I don't have the full day full of things in my calendar, right? My calendar is my biggest helper. If it's not in my calendar, it doesn't happen. And if it makes it to my calendar, it's really important. And if there is nothing in my calendar, I'm out. Tennis, kids, sports, singing, whatever, right? So this is how I stay in high energy and in presence, also by choosing who I work with, because people either give me energy or they drag me down. And so I'm learning how to find out earlier who is what. I'm not great at it, but I'm getting better. So I'm getting more selective who I work with, who I pick as a client, as a vendor, as a partner, as a colleague. And basically I work all the time and I live all the time, but also I stopped working 7 years ago. And this is probably how many entrepreneurs feel, that I'm working all the time. If I'm playing tennis, like literally, I'm playing tennis or I'm watching Federer playing tennis. And today I was like, how many points did he score? And then Gemini, how many points did he score? 54%. Oh, 54%. So, and I'm already learning something about business and probabilities and trading while I'm watching Federer. You see what I
That's
mean?
awesome.
I
I
don't
love it.
disconnect those two things. I let them jump and mesh into one each other, because that's where the creativity actually happens, when you combine things.
Yeah, I love that. I heard, okay, so for those people that aren't quite enlightened as Simon, who can't flow 100% of the time, a couple of things that really kind of helped me. And again, the next question is going to be like, what are the changes you made to recover from burnout? But some of the boundary stuff I heard both you guys say, echo. I'm going to say the same thing. Calendar blocking. If you are not calendar blocking, you're dead, right? Most founders, when they first look at a calendar, like if I calendar block my whole life, it's going to be restrictive. What they'll find is if they go do that, it's the most freeing opportunity that you'll ever have. Here's the big thing that changed for me. I decided that I wanted to build a lifestyle with a business that supports it, not the other way around, right? Most people are like, I'm going to build a business so it can give me the lifestyle. It's not the way it should be, right? It's, in my opinion, you should design the lifestyle you want. Hey, I want to go play tennis at 9 a.m. every day. Okay, great. Well, from 9 until 10:30, calendar block tennis. Great. Okay, perfect. Now in the afternoon, I want to have lunch with my wife. Calendar block that first before you do any business stuff. So you put your lifestyle into your calendar first, and then you fill in all the other empty holes with the business stuff. When I switched my way of doing this, my life got 100,000,000,000% better. It was incredible. And so now what I do is, and again, which lead into the next question here, which I'll ask you, Neil, and then I'll kind of just share mine here first. The question is, can you share a time when you hit burnout and what specific changes you made to recover and prevent it from happening again? I was so bad in burnout that I wanted to take my own life. I almost drove off the road into a tree. Okay. And then I went to my coach. So first of all, have a coach. If you don't have one, hire Simon, hire Neil, hire me, somebody, right? Have a coach. And I asked my coach, I'm like, look, like I'm dead. This is terrible. And we did a deep dive and he goes, yeah, this business is stealing your soul and all this other stuff. And so my one coach advised me to sell my first software company, which we did, life-changing, right? The second coach that I had, because I had more than one coach for specific things, he came to me and he said, Sean, what's the most important thing in your world? And I said, my wife, no question. And then he says to me, hey, open up your calendar and prove it to me. And my face turned red and I got really embarrassed because I was like, oh shit, I don't have my wife anywhere on my calendar and she's the most important thing in my life. Like, that's odd. And that moment shifted my whole perspective of like, yo, from this moment forward, it's lunch every day with my wife for at least 30 minutes. So I have that on my calendar every single weekday. And then on the weekend, Saturday night from 3 until the rest of the night is date night, non-negotiable. Not to say what Simon doesn't like. If I'm on a date and I see some like Ben and Jerry's ice cream store, I think about how they market. I think about that stuff all the time. But what I'm saying is like, if you don't have that present moment for the lifestyle, your business is not really the business that you wanted to build. At least most people that I talk to. So,
But that's the
Neil,
work of the entrepreneur to think about that Ben and Jerry's business model. Is it superior to my business model? What can I
yeah,
do? And in that moment, you make a quick note on your phone
yep,
and then you move on, of course. But when you
that's
come
it.
back to the office, that's the seed that you're watering.
Yeah, I love that. And I do that too, but I just, again, like I think like to help the founder that's trying to get to the next level, like if you're not calendar blocking, one of the other things that one of my coaches told me to do is time block. So take a spreadsheet every 15 minutes for a week long, write what you did in that 15 minutes, and then dissect where you're spending most of your time, because maybe that'll be a map of how you can outsource stuff. Right. That's the other piece of it as well. So I do that about once a year. I do a 2-week time blocking for myself. I look at my 15-minute schedules. That's how our company decides to hire new people or replace systems or whatever. So yeah, there's a couple of things that go into that. But back to you, Neil. Share a time when you hit burnout. What specific changes did you make after you went into burnout to recover and prevent it from happening again? I just shared mine.
I just wanted to say real quick to Simon's point as well. It's very brave as an entrepreneur, somebody starting up a business from scratch, to say no to clients. And I've been through that as well, where you end up taking on everybody because you need the money, you need the cash flow, you need to start up somewhere. And by doing that you end up sort of not being true to yourself, and you also end up sort of eventually burning out because you're spending too many cycles on people that aren't giving you what you need back. Either it's you're spending too many cycles on something, then the revenue is very small, versus people that you could be hitting heavier and getting much more revenue from, but you haven't got in much time because you're spending it too much on this other person that's just consuming all your time and asking too many questions. So I think it's very brave and very important to be able to say no. When I mentioned to you about saying no to my boss around projects that I didn't want to travel, things like that. Travel was a big thing for me, cutting travel out, not doing that anymore, and being present with family and friends and just doing something that I enjoy. Burnout for me was a problem where I said, not sleeping, heart flutters, all kinds of things. and it manifests it into many other different sort of forms of ill health. So for me, being present in that moment and absolutely switching off from work, I don't know how Simon does it, where he's still sort of maintaining that, but I need to detach myself from project work that I'm doing so I don't think about it, I don't procrastinate, I don't go over and over and have that monkey mind. Being present in the moment and doing something that's nothing related to work. I'm a musician, I love gardening, I love spending time with my wife and my family and stuff. So that's the thing that I'm doing. And the time blocking, to your point, putting stuff in the calendar and saying, well, I do that at a particular time of day, but my time is my own time when it's blocked out in the calendar. And I try not deviate from that. Whether
Love
that's
that.
the best
That's
approach
awesome.
or not, but it's working for me. Let's be
Hey, if it works for you, that's what matters, right? Because it's your business. That's all that matters. Simon, over to you. When you've hit burnout, what specific changes did you make to recover and prevent it from happening again?
I'd love for us to have an episode in Neil's garden. Let's do a Portugal episode. We sit in that garden. I mean, it's amazing, right?
virtually. You can do it virtually.
So when do I hit burnout? How do I hit burnout? In
No, what
22
specific
years.
changes do you make to recover from it is more the question
Yeah.
once you're there.
So
Yeah.
I never went over the line, but I frequently hit that line where I go like, I'm flat. I'm flat. I can't. So for example, after the first book, I was like, I will never do a second book. And that for a
Here you are.
year, for 2
Doing
years,
another
I said
book.
everybody, no, I'm not doing a second book. Publisher, hey, let's do a second book. No, I'm never doing a second book. And so I was burnt out on that task for 2 years, but I was very alive and open and curious on other tasks. So I have, if you want, some lanes or some parts of my garden that are overwhelmed, that are stuck at any point, but I can flow to another part of the same garden. So what I'm learning is dealing with frustration, how to better deal with frustration. The example of Federer. I met Federer's coach and I asked him a few questions. How do you coach Federer? What questions did he have? And so again, I was in my free time, right? But I was asking him a ton of coaching questions from my industry because I'm so fascinated by it and I can't stop thinking about it. And so he told me a ton of things. And one of the things that I learned is 54% of the time was his hit rate. So points hit versus points loss. 54%. And he's the best in the history of tennis. So imagine everybody else. They're like in their 40% win. So now you are losing 60% of the time. That's the entrepreneurial life. 60% of the time something is going wrong. You try this, oh, doesn't work. You try this, oh my God, it doesn't work again. So what I'm learning and what my work in terms of keeping my energy and my presence high is dealing with that. And so whenever I see that, I observe, how is it hitting me? Do I take it personally? But then this is going to kill me very quickly. So do I take it as a team learning? How can we turn this into learning and how can we become quicker at moving on instead of making it our baggage that drags us for the next 3 days? How can we move on? Okay, it was a loss, cut it. That CRM was wrong, boom, off. Yeah, but Samuel, but we still have a 1-year contract. Doesn't matter, it's the wrong thing. Cut it, let's move on. So what I'm trying to do is getting better at dealing with frustrations because they will stay. They are the only constant. I have 3 kids. So even if my business, everything is perfect, but then, I go one room over and there is always something going on with 3 kids, right? Yeah, I'm getting new teeth, my new school, I'm getting bullied at school. My first girlfriend broke my heart. So it's, it never ends as a parent and entrepreneur. And so I'm trying to get better to surrender to the fact that 70% is going to go wrong. How can I create the conditions for this 30% to go well and defend that? And also, how can I be okay with events and being in easier acceptance of a failure, turn that into a learning and move on.
I love it. I think that's amazing. Yeah, let's do as we're coming to the end of the session today. Again, this is the Elevate podcast to help founders lift up to the next level. By the way, this is a conversation, so make sure to drop a comment below. Any topics you want to talk about, like this, share this out to somebody else that might need it, that's going through burnout. We had a lot of really, really good tips here. Last section I kind of want to test with you guys is this. What was your biggest takeaway from today? How are you going to put it in your business? So let's just go back. I'll kick it over to you, Simon, first, and then we'll go
I
to
need a
Neil.
garden.
Neil looks like
I need a garden.
Okay.
Or at least if I can't get a garden over the next year, we have to do an episode in Portugal.
In Portugal.
Okay.
I guess we're going
You're
to
very
Portugal.
welcome.
That's amazing. Awesome. My next one was I'm going to take a peek at Fixer.ai for the email and calendar stuff that Simon mentioned. Also, I like some of the burnout symptoms that Neil said. Is like, hey, if you get the lack of focus, or if you have a mountain of tasks, that was Simon's, or you find yourself losing control, like just be aware of that happening, and then being able to like design a plan to get out of it, I think is valuable for me. Neil, what was your big takeaway from today?
So many. I think the focus, elephant, antelope, bunny is something that I will adopt.
Cool.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's easy peasy. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here today. This was an awesome episode. You'll find it out on all the major socials, of course. And until we see you next time, keep going, keep jamming, keep winning.
Avoid trying to do thousands of things that doesn't work. We have 274 templates for your business success. Reach your ambitious goals with one-on-one sprint coach. We double your revenue in 90 days.
What if your business would run well even when you are on vacation? Discover how 1,600 business owners have regained their freedom using the Strategy Sprints blueprints. How they enjoy living their dream and watching their business scale. Get the exact checklists they use to go from stressed to fulfilled using the Strategy Sprints method. Order your copy of Strategy Sprints 12 Ways to Accelerate Growth for an Agile Business on Amazon today. And if you love it, leave us a review. For more information, head over to strategysprints.com.